What is up, my people? Welcome back to Blue Chip Prospect for another scouting report. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Leo Carlsson's world. The guy is incredibly good and has all the tools to become a dominant force in the NHL. As usual, I'm going to break down his stats and compare him to other players from this season and from previous seasons. I'll grade all of his tools, and we're also going to go through a ton of clips so you can better understand what type of player he is. And finally, I'm going to give you my NHL player comparison and my approximate ranking. So without further ado, let's get this started. Alright, so first thing first, Carlsson is a Swedish left-shooting winger slash center who projects to play as a center in the NHL in my opinion. He's 6'3", 195 pounds, and was born in December 2004, which puts him in the middle of the pack when it comes to age. For the rankings, he's pretty much always ranked 3 or 4 depending on the service's preference between him and Mishkov. The only outlier here is Recruit Scouting, who have Smith and Benson going before Carlsson, so they actually ranked him 6, which I don't agree with, but it is what it is. Production-wise, to make it simple, he's been dominant everywhere he's been. Last season, he was the best player in the Swedish J20 with Liam Hogren, who was a full year older than him and ended up a first-round selection in 2022. He then had 3 points in 2 games at the U18 and 9 points in 35 games in the SHL in his draft -1 season. Pretty fantastic year if you ask me. He then followed that up in 2023 with another fantastic season of 25 points in 44 games with Orebro and 6 points in 7 games in the U20s. I'm also very excited to see what he does in the World Championship that will start in a couple of days and see if he can pull a Slavkovsky and dominate a few games and move up in the lineup. We'll see. Same for Reinbacher actually. It's a good occasion to see him play against an NHL player and see what he does. Alright, so his production in the SHL this season is definitely the best by far by draft eligible player in the SHL. And when I apply the same filter as usual, which are 17 to 18 years old, draft eligible with a minimum of 10 games played, he places 9th on that list. I went back a little further this time and filtered from 1990 instead of 2000 because I wanted to include the Sedins in it and Marcus Naslund in the stats comparison. In terms of production, he's basically on par with Niklas Backstrom and William Eklund with a 0.57 point per game, and very close to Fiala and Elias Lindholm, who both had a little bit of a better production. Other than that, he had a better production than some very significant player like Zibanejad and William Nylander, and some up-and-coming player like Alexander Holz, Lekermaki, and Lucas Raymond. So overall, his statistical profile is outstanding. The only thing that scares me a little, not that scares me, but that I have at the back of my mind is that 13 points out of his 25 came from the power play, including 7 of his 10 goals. But it all got better in the playoff where he only had 2 of his 9 points came from the power play, so when it mattered, he was a beast. And again, before I jump to the grades, if you're enjoying the content I'm making, please take the time to like and subscribe. It helps me grow the channel and reach more hockey fans like you, and it makes me feel warm inside, so please and thank you. Alright, so on a tool level, Leo Carlsson is an incredible player. The only tool that seems to be average is his shot. It's really not that heavy or quick, and isn't really a threat from distance, at least not right now. Definitely could get better, but right now it's the weakest element in his game. But apart from that, everything else seems to be high-end. His hockey sense is incredible and can read the play at a very high level. The same can be said for his playmaking, where he's the best in the draft at creating space for his teammate. He competes hard every shift, and he has high-end motor and the physical package to go with it. The puck skills are just so good that I debated in my head giving it a 9 because of just how good he is at controlling the puck and keeping possession, whether it's in traffic or along the board, and because of how good he can dish passes from any body position. He can do it from inside his legs to completely outside of his body. He seems to have the same amount of control. Even his skating is really good, and I graded it as above average. I know that most people or scouting services are not fan of the skating, but from what I've seen, it's really good. The good thing about making videos on these players is that you don't have to rely on trust me bro science. When I get there, I'll put the clips on the screen and you can judge for yourself whether you think it's good or not. So overall, Leo is a very intriguing player because the toolkit is just so good. He just looks like a total package. Alright, so let's start with the shot here. Like I said before, it doesn't really project as a very dangerous shot at the NHL level, at least for now, but at the same time, I'm not sure how much he needs it to be dangerous. That's why when I see players like Rantanen as a player comparison, it doesn't make much sense, but I understand it. You'll see later, my comparison makes even less sense. The thing with Carlsson is that I don't think he needs a great shot to score. A bit like Rantanen at the time, he didn't have a crazy 50-goal projectable shot in his draft year, but he was one of the smartest players in the draft. He understood how to score from close or redirection and was very good in tight close to the net. Only once in a while we saw a glimpse of heavy wrister and one-timer. Today, he is who he is, and without projecting Carlsson as a 50-goal scorer, I see a similar type of progression where he brings his scoring at the same level as his playmaking. Carlsson is also a big boy who's just starting to get accustomed to his body. He plays in the SHL as a 17, 18 years old, which is not a very easy environment to develop in. He plays with a pretty long stick, so those are all reasons why I think he might start shooting more and scoring more from distance in the future. So now he tries to score mostly from close to the net, but he did flash a pretty good wrister and a pretty good one-timer this season, so in the end, I think it will come. Alright, so I think that I like Carlsson skating more than most. I've seen a lot of people say it isn't good, or even some like Corey Proman graded as under average. When I say he's an above average skater, especially for his size, I don't mean that he'll be turning defenders cutting out wide on his way to the net with consistency. I mean that when I look at how hockey is played in the NHL offensively and defensively, he'll be an over average considering his size. He can accelerate quickly and jump in and out of pockets. He can explode and get to the puck first. Over a long distance, he can win foot races, and he can do all that while maintaining control of the puck, which is really important. He's not the most agile player, as most 6'3" players aren't, but he has quick enough feet to quickly change direction or angle of attack. He applies a ton of pressure on the forecheck and can backcheck with good speed. He's the typical lengthy player that will need some time to adapt to his body, but overall, it's good, and he's also solid on his skate. He'll need to work on his explosiveness from a standstill, but that can be negated by putting him at center, where he'll be mostly always in movement. But if he keeps his feet moving, like I said, he can change pace pretty quickly with one or two crossover, which makes him an above average skater. Carlsson is also a very good competitor, and he has the body for it. Here, it's important to make the difference between being a very competitive athlete and being a physical player. Carlsson is not a physical player. He uses his body really well to shield the puck along the board. He uses his body to gain better positioning on a foot race for the puck. He uses his body to park himself in front of the net, but he doesn't use his body for physicality or anything like that. That's something that he'll need to work on a bit, but teams aren't going to pick him in the draft for big hits and to smash another player's face in the window on a dump and chase. So when I say he has high and compete, I mean it in the same way I meant it for Leonard. He's willing to do the whole work himself. He's willing to win the puck battles in the corner, cycle the puck and reposition in front of the net for rebounds and deflections. He's willing to go to the high danger area for high danger chances. He will forecheck hard and overwhelm the defense. He will backcheck hard and lock the pass receiver's stick. He does it all, and he will do it as likely the best player on his line. Pretty impressive if you ask me. He always worked just as hard in all three zones. He's really the type of player that's a cornerstone for your team, the type you build your team around. Carlsson has some very impressive stick handling skills for his size. Some game I even thought that he had them Will Smith hands, but without the over reliance on them. I'm not sure I'm there. I'm not sure it's as smooth and quick as Smith, but it's close enough, and he doesn't try to attack to defender's leg or toe drag around them every single shift. He uses hands when necessary. He's really good at handling the puck at full speed without skipping a beat, and he can also use them just as well in traffic or along the board. I can't say that he's as dominant and slippery as Slafkovsky was along the board last season, because he was just on another level, but he's just as smart at handling the puck close to his body, protect it, and send it to a teammate when the right opportunity presents itself. He has quick backhand, forehand moves, and the puck seems to be glued to his stick when he has it, and overall his puck skills are an integral part of his game. He uses his hands very effectively to keep the puck away from defenders while waiting for the right pass or to get in better position for a shot. Alright, so in this part of the video, I'm combining hockey sense and playmaking ability because they both come together for him. Some players like Mishkov, for example, they plan everything and they make the play happen by involving his teammate to create scoring chances. Others like Carlsson, they react to whatever is in front of them and create by opening space for their teammates. In my opinion, Carlsson is the best player in the draft at creating space for his teammate. He knows that he has the body to shield the puck and the stick and link to keep it away from the defender, so he will often just attack at first to attract a defender or two on him and make them think they have a chance at stripping the puck away from him. He does this to open pocket of space where the over-enthusiast defenders were supposed to be. He basically just relieved the pressure from his teammate by taking it and sending the puck in a low-pressure area where the teammate can either shoot it or advance the play forward. Basically, every game you can see him attack head first and cut to the middle of the ice, bringing a player or two on him, or even attack to the middle and break to the perimeter to open tons of space for the trailer behind him or a player cutting to the middle. It's impressive, and it's the exact type of play that really translates well to the NHL. He is the exact definition of a player that makes everyone around them better by either relieving pressure or by always being in support position for an easy out option for his teammate. He also has very high skill and very good vision. He can wire the puck across the ice just as much as he can delay a pass for a second or two to let the passing lane or the play develop. He basically never rushes a play just to get the puck off of his stick. He has the patience and the vision to see the best play available and the skill to execute and wait for it. Even if he was a highlight reel player some nights this season, he understands that small, simple passes to the slot are often better than waiting for a cross-ice lane to develop. He's another player like Smith who can open lanes to high danger area by moving sticks and legs out of the way with little stutters and delays or with quick back and forehand move. So overall, in my opinion, Carlsson is just pure dynamite. He is one of the most, if not the most complete player in the draft. He's been playing mostly wing for the last 2 seasons, but he has all the tools to be a very good center in the NHL. The team that will draft Carlsson will get a 6'3" high-end playmaking center that can either play with finesse or engage physically along the board, a player that will make every player on his line that much better, and a player that isn't scared to do all the work himself to create offense. They will also get a player that, in my opinion, will develop into a two-way beast down the middle and will likely develop a good scoring touch. So when I describe him like that makes me think of Anze Kopitar. I think it's a perfect player comparison for what Carlsson has the potential to become, a hard-working, physically dominant two-way playmaking center who can score. That's pretty much what he is. In terms of ranking, I have him in the same tier as Mishkov and Fantilli, so anywhere between 2nd overall and 4th seems like a great spot for him. While I think that Mishkov and Fantilli have more scoring potential, Carlsson has the potential to be the most impactful of those players. I just think that his competitiveness mixed with his hockey sense plus his ability to bring everyone on his line to another level can really make him a dominant player in the future. Alright, that is it for Leo Carlsson. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.
Pucken i mål för 2-2. Fortfarande ingen klubba på Linus Söderström. Och Örebro kvitterar till 2-2. Sen 2 Skellefteå-spelare fallit i egen zon.
Det ser man inte oftare.
Det ser man nästan aldrig. Och Leo Carlsson gör sitt första slutspelsmål.